The next thing, I'm floating around out in midair like a homesick angel. So I reach for my ripcord and give it a yank, and then I look up and I see the wing of my airplane is coming down right on top of me, and the wing went right down beside me.
We got hit over the target, lost 2 engines. We were going home when still a 3rd engine went out on us. There's a short runway, but it's all there is. The co-pilot and I both jumped on the brakes. We stopped short 8 or 10 feet from the end of that runway. We walked away from that landing. I should say we danced away from it with a leap of joy. And for that, I won the Distinguished Flying Cross.
The stories of World War II will be illustrated in a series of 24 sculpted bronze panels. More than 200 pieces of art will embellish the memorial. Master sculptor Ray KASKEY was commissioned for the project.
The purpose of the World War II Memorial is to honor the sacrifice of the fighting men, to honor the efforts of the people on the home front, and to commemorate the unity of the nation.
It is a massive undertaking.
The bas-relief panels represent the mobilization of the United States. We finally came up with 12 episodes for the Atlantic Front and 12 episodes for the Pacific Front. And a group of World War II reenactors modeled these things for us.
Each meticulous detail must be sculpted first in clay before it is sent to the foundry.
The sculpture of the memorial provides a degree of detail that humanizes it, brings it down to the scale of individual involvement.
The most ambitious works of art are 2 25-foot-high canopies, each with 4 American eagles, that suspend a 5,000-pound victory laurel.
I started with how to hold up the laurel wreath. And I thought, well, what could I use? The American eagle is the obvious choice.
Much of the work takes place at the foundry. Once cast, the pieces are welded, hammered, and ground into shape. It is a large industrial process, and all the sculpture will take nearly 4 years to complete. During World War II, America was transformed into an industrial superpower, the arsenal of democracy.
The only way to meet our increased needs for more weapons is for every American, men and women, to go out and get a war job.
Well, Rosie the Riveter, of course, was important. That was the breakthrough that brought women into the workforce for the first time in the United States in a big way.
I went to work in a defense plant as a drill press operator. And at that time, I weighed 98 pounds, and I was 21 years of age. We were in the defense work to keep things going for the ones that were out there fighting for us. It was wonderful. Sometimes we'd see P-51s and we'd say, ooh, we worked on those.
American farmers also did their part.
So there were critical shortages of food, and the biggest grain basket in the world was right in America. So farm families rightfully felt that they were deeply involved in the war effort.
Everybody was involved. My grandmother Katie was saving bacon grease because they used bacon grease to make munitions. My aunt was saving string. That string then would be used in making uniforms. My uncle, he was saving silver foil, so he had a ball this big.
We were issued tickets for how much gasoline we could get for our automobiles. We had food rations. Everybody felt that we had to defend our country.
Like the nation in World War II, all the elements of the memorial began to work together. First, 52 sculpted bronze ropes were placed between each of the pillars.
All the states are there, and they are all united. And that bronze rope is symbolic of that unity.
2 bronze wreaths were also hung on each pillar, one of oak and one of wheat.
The oak wreath is meant to represent the military and industrial strength which was brought to bear in World War II. The wheat wreath represents the agricultural might of the United States.
2 flatbed trucks arrived at the site, carrying 8 American Eagle sculptures and their large laurel wreaths. This was the moment of truth for the sculptor and the installation team.
I don't think you experience sculpture or space with your eyes alone. You experience it with your body, and the only way you can experience that is at the full size.
The eagles on columns had to be flown through the air and carefully lowered through the top of the pavilions.
Well, I feel about 8,000 pounds lighter now that the eagles have landed.
Then the first of 2 gigantic wreaths was slowly lifted in the air to join up with the eagles' beaks.
It was the first opportunity to see it all together after 4 years of working on it in pieces. It was stunning to me to see it at that size.
Below the wreath is a replication of the Victory Medal, and every serviceman and servicewoman at the end of the war were presented with this medal. What surrounds that medallion is victory on land, victory at sea, victory in the air.
But victory was still uncertain on June 6, 1944, known to all as D-Day. In the early hours of the morning, the largest armada in history crossed the English Channel to Normandy, beginning the long and costly road toward the final conquest of Nazi Germany.
General Eisenhower, my dad, he went out to see the 101st Airborne. He knew that some of those boys would be killed.
My brother Ray and I were real close. Yeah, that's what twins are. And then the only thing ever separated us was D-Day.
We were the first ones in before the Army. And I've never seen so many planes in my life come over us. We had a lot of bombers, they bombing. And the Army went in. I saw men that drowned. That was a bad sight.
On the day of the Normandy invasion, I would have been 23 years of age, and heading into the beach, you could hear them whistling over your head, which were the big guns from the battleships.
Well, they come there from Bedford. We was picked to go in on the first wave, the suicide wave, because that's really what happened.
On the beach, it was a matter of seeing
My worst memory of World War II was Omaha Beach. There was no way you could get by without seeing somebody dead or severely wounded. We had one fellow on the beach. He had both legs blown off, and he wouldn't let anybody near him. He just sat there and bled to death. It was terrific.
More than 2,000 brave Americans died on the beaches of Normandy, most in battle for the first time.
So we went down to the cemetery, and the first grave I came to was my brother.